Detroit, listen to me for a second. This is one of those nights where you can feel the franchise getting heavier. You know that moment right before kickoff at Ford Field when the whole place is vibrating but the stadium goes quiet for a half a beat because the other sideline already knows what's coming? That same feeling just moved upstairs, into the front office. This isn't clickbait, and it's not a fantasy trade machine dream. This is what it looks like when a team that's already good starts acting like a team that expects to still be playing in January. I'm going to walk you through why one name from the AFC East just became very real for Detroit, and why that name is about finishing games on our terms. First, let's be honest about who we are right now. The Detroit Lions are not a cute story anymore. We're not the polite underdog people root for because it's heartwarming. We're in the NFC picture on purpose. Offensively, this is grown man football. Jared Goff is in full command, diagnosing coverages pre-snap like a veteran point guard. The run game leans on people until they're tired of tackling, and Ben Johnson keeps defenses a step behind with motion and misdirection that create clean throws in high-leverage downs. We travel, we score, we dictate tempo. And defensively, you can feel the shift from earn respect to set the standard. This locker room knows it belongs. But there's still one part of this roster that comes up every single time you start saying phrases like January football and NFC title shot. It's not wide receiver depth. It's not running back health. It's not the offensive line. It's closing time on defense. I'm talking about the final defensive series of a playoff game. 3rd and 8, one-score lead, under 2 minutes, season on the line. In that moment, you can't blitz out of panic every snap because great quarterbacks eat that. In that moment, you need to rush 4, win with 4, and end the night. That is the one piece this roster still hasn't locked in at a championship level. Now let's talk about the guy already carrying that responsibility every single week. Aiden Hutchinson. Hutch is not promising anymore. He's a tone setter. He wins with speed, with leverage, with violent hands, with pure stubbornness. He walks tackles back into their own quarterback. He chases down plays from the backside in the 4th quarter like it's the first drive of the game. He forces fumbles. He flips momentum. He changes the volume in the stadium with one rep. He's already playing like the centerpiece of a playoff defense, and you can see the way the rest of the unit feeds off him. He's a problem for everyone we play, every single week. But here's the part nobody at Allen Park pretends not to see. Hutchinson cannot be the only closer forever. Elite postseason defenses do not ask one edge rusher to save them. Elite postseason defenses throw waves. They hit you off both edges, over and over, until your offensive line is begging for the clock to run. The Lions have patched that second edge spot with toughness and pride. Al-Quadin Muhammad has stepped in and given real, meaningful snaps. He's not just filling space. He's collapsing pockets and showing up in money downs. The rotation behind Hutch has been professional and physical. But it's still a rotation. What this team has not had yet is that second true closer who makes offensive coordinators change their entire protection plan on Wednesday. And that's why timing matters. The NFL trade deadline is basically here. This is when real contenders act and the rest stay quiet. Brad Holmes has said it from day one. He's not burning premium picks just to get applause, and he's not blowing up the long-term build for a headline. But he's also not scared. If a player fits the room, the mentality, the money, and the scheme, he'll move. That's why one specific name keeps coming up when people around the league talk about Detroit and talk about January. So let's say the name out loud. Germaine Johnson, edge rusher, New York Jets. This is not a random connection. This is the exact archetype you'd design in a lab if you were building the guy opposite Hutchinson. He's long. He's explosive. He has that first step that makes right tackles panic and open their hips too early. He uses heavy, violent hands to control contact instead of getting washed upfield. He can convert speed to power and literally walk a 320-pound tackle back into his own quarterback. He's not just fast. He's physical, and he understands angles. That's the profile you want in January, when it's cold, noisy, and ugly. Now, the production's not theoretical. Before the injury slowed him down, Johnson put real numbers on tape. Sacks, pressures, drive-killing hits. This wasn't just cleanup when someone else flushed the quarterback. He was winning his own reps. You can see him stun a tackle with his hands, flatten to the spot, and arrive with bad intentions. You can see him squeeze the pocket from the outside and force quarterbacks to climb straight into traffic. That matters in playoff football. In January, the difference between getting off the field and giving up a first down is one rusher winning on time. Johnson has already shown he can be that rusher. Now let's be adults and talk health, because that's part of the evaluation whether we like it or not. Germaine Johnson had the Achilles injury. He missed serious time. Later he dealt with the ankle and had to sit again. For an edge rusher, that's not a footnote, that's the headline. Explosion and bend are literally the job description. You have to know if they're still there. The important part is this: he's back on the field and the burst is still real. The first step is still sudden. The ability to dip, turn, and finish hasn't disappeared. You're not talking about a washed veteran you're trying to revive. You're talking about a young pass rusher who got hit with a major injury, rehabbed, and is climbing back. Now let's talk contract, because this is where Detroit should lean in. Germaine Johnson is not walking into Allen Park demanding top-of-the-market edge money. He's under team control, with the fifth-year option lined up. That means this is not a desperate rental where you give up picks for 10 games and pray. This is a controllable player in his prime window whose cost still fits inside what the Lions are building. The front office has been disciplined. Reward the core, protect flexibility, avoid the kind of deal that strangles you 2 years from now. Johnson fits that profile. High impact, manageable number, playoff value without blowing up the cap. And here's why his name is even floating around. The Jets aren't throwing him away. Nobody in this league casually gives up good edge rushers. But their defensive line room is crowded. They've poured resources into that front. They've got multiple young rushers, multiple contracts coming due, and you can't pay everybody forever. That's where a team like Detroit steps in. You call, and you don't beg, you negotiate. You say, we're not asking for a favor. We're offering you value now so that both teams get stronger in the long run. For the Jets, it's a chance to manage assets. For the Lions, it's a chance to weaponize January. Now picture this in our jersey. 3rd and long, in a playoff game. Ford Field shaking so hard you feel it in your ribs. Hutchinson on one edge, wide, daring the left tackle to block him alone. Germaine Johnson on the other edge, threatening speed outside and then snapping back inside the moment the right tackle oversets. Aline McNeil driving the middle. Only 4 rushing, no blitz, 7 in coverage. Quarterback can't climb, can't slide, can't breathe. That's how you close playoff games. That's how you get the ball back without gambling and giving up a miracle deep shot. And that right there is why you keep hearing the same word from Dan Campbell and from Kelvin Shepard. Finish. They are not interested in almost. Almost sacks look cool on social in October. Almost sacks send you home in January. This defense is trying to level up from tough and respected to we set the terms, adjust to us. Bringing in Germaine Johnson next to Hutchinson wouldn't rewrite who the Lions are. It would amplify it. It would send a message to the entire NFC. You are not getting a clean 2-minute drill against Detroit without feeling it in your ribs the next morning. That's identity. That's reputation. That travels. So I'm putting it in your hands now. If you were Brad Holmes for one night, do you make the move and spend real assets on an edge with burst, length, attitude, and a contract this team can live with, a guy who, lined up across from Hutchinson, might be the difference between great season, tough exit, or see you in the NFC title game? Or do you sit tight, trust the rotation, keep the picks, and bet this group figures it out from inside? I want that answer in the comments. Tell me aggressive or patient and what you'd pay. And while you're here, subscribe, turn alerts on, and stay locked to this channel because I'll keep bringing what actually matters to this team, not hype.